This is the story of one determined young jackal. Kwezi must leave home to start his own family. But the African desert's a dangerous place. Does he have what it takes, or is he forever destined to be the underdog? For over 50 years, survival has captured spectacular images of the natural world. Now we use the very best to bring you stories of animals as they could occur in the wild. On the African plains, the death of a zebra sparks a feeding frenzy as vultures pile in to tear at the corpse. And among them, a little wild dog jostles for position. This is Kwezi. Black-backed jackals are often considered lowly scavengers, undesirable vermin. They are the underdogs. But there is more to these pint-sized hunters than meets the eye. Jackals pair for life. Their society is based on body language and status. Resources are few and far between. Climbing the ranks can make the difference between life and death. They can be very social, but when push comes to shove, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. Luckily, Kwezi and his kind are cunning opportunists, the key to success in one of the harshest environments on Earth. This is Etosha, a flat desert pan in the heart of Namibia. The arid wasteland stretches for 80 miles, yet despite the harsh conditions, it's teeming with wildlife. It's a place of extremes, but for the blackbacks, this is home. Adana, Kwezi's mother, stands over her new litter of pups, Kwezi's younger brothers and sisters. Though he's a year old now and largely able to fend for himself, Kwezi has stayed home to help out. Like many wild dogs, the whole pack plays a part in raising the young. The more helpers there are, the better the chances of survival for the pups. The birth was timed to perfection. Now the puppies leave the den for the first time, just as storm clouds break. The rainy season is on its way. It's been a long, dry summer, and food has been in short supply. The adults, including Kwezi, have to work hard to feed the family. The pups wait patiently at the den and go to ground as the weather begins to stir. Kwezi watches the foreboding clouds. Last year he was able to snuggle with his family, but now he's on his own. No cozy den for him. The rainy season hits hard, but it will be short-lived. Until the rains are over, there is nothing the animals can do but sit it out. Etosha is a flood pan. The hard soil captures water, forming a large shallow lake. Kwezi explores his waterlogged home. This is his first wet season as an adult, but already he's learning the tricks of the trade. Despite the fact that it's hidden beneath the rising water, his sensitive nose can sniff out the remains of an old meal that he's stashed away for a rainy day. But these hard times are coming to an end. The rains mark the start of a time of plenty. The desert pan is quickly transformed into lush meadows. Game trails cut through the green as animals descend on water holes. Other visitors, like the Abdim's stork, arrive by air. Springbok have to push their way through to get a space by the pool. But the storks are happy to give way for larger drinkers, like the noisy herds of zebra. The animals are jumpy. Predators are also drawn to water, and even the sudden appearance of little Kwezi can cause a stampede. Kwezi trots to greet his parents, Adana and Farai, but something's changed, not the usual warm greetings. Jackals are highly strung at the best of times, but now the parents seem to approach their son with aggression. Is this a hint that it's time to leave home? The lush meadows provide the perfect nursery for animals to start families. A nervous courser moves in to settle on her well-camouflaged egg. She moves slowly so as not to draw attention to the rather exposed nest. There are some bigger babies too. Springbok all give birth at the same time, coordinated to coincide with the emerging grass shoots. The mother quickly grooms her new fawn, removing all traces of the birth to avoid alerting predators. Within minutes, the tiny antelope tries its legs. There are many dangers in the desert, and the sooner it can keep up with the herd, the better its chances of survival. It will be running within an hour of birth. Despite the rough treatment from his parents, Kwezi still diligently searches for food that he can take back to the growing pups. Jackals are opportunists and will sometimes hunt game for themselves. The sparring adult springbok are too big for little Kwezi. But a springbok fawn would make an attractive meal. Because the newborn fawns quickly tire, they have an unusual survival strategy. They lie frozen close to the ground while their mothers go off to graze. At this age, the fawns have no scent at all, making it very hard for predators to find them, especially inexperienced Kwezi. He trots around until he stumbles upon a target. Then, it's all down to timing. In this case, an angry mother springbok was too close for comfort. The swift antelope is soon out of reach. Thanks to the rain, Etosha now has a lively nightlife. Bullfrogs serenade one another, trying to secure a mate and breed before the temporary pools dry up. The jackal pups are growing up and starting to explore. Angry, puffed-up bullfrogs make amusing toys. The frog is on its way from its hibernation chamber to the lake where others are spawning. Eventually, the harassment gets too much. His bark's worse than his bite, but it's enough to spook the pups. The commotion has woken one of the desert's most agile hunters, the caracal, a desert lynx. She begins a night of hunting. And she's not the only one. Kwezi too is still looking for a meal. A movement. The mouse isn't much of a hunting challenge, but Kwezi makes it more exciting by playing with his food. This is dog rather than cat and mouse, but the principles are the same. Once he's worked up an appetite, the game's brought to an abrupt end. But he barely has time to enjoy his meal when he hears a strange sound. He's been upstaged by the caracal, which has managed to subdue a springbok fawn. Like a miniature lion, it holds tightly to the antelope's throat. Kwezi barks with excitement, perhaps hoping to draw other members of the clan to mob the cat. But none come. His parents have set their sights on larger prey. While Kwezi, the young jackal, is left chasing mice, his parents, Adana and Farai, have discovered much larger game. It's rare for jackals to hunt such a big animal, but the springbok has injured its leg. Farai circles the victim, trying to wear it down while dodging its lethal horns. The springbok stumbles. Adana rushes in to support her mate. One of the reasons they pair for life is because teamwork pays off. Hunting as a pack enables the jackals to overpower prey several times their size. Dogs' jaws are designed to lock onto a struggling animal, to wear it out and bring it to the ground. Reinforcements. Though jackals are territorial, the rules are relaxed when a big kill is made. Now, every jackal in the region can come and take their share, even Kwezi. The dogs tolerate each other to try and get rid of the carcass before it's spotted by anyone else. But this time, they are too late. The lion is 25 times their weight. Even collectively, they stand no chance of keeping hold of their prize. All they can do is bark their protest. The jackals scatter, apart from Kwezi. He's feeling brave, but it's a dangerous game to play. Just grabbing a final mouthful, he decides to cut his losses. The king of the beasts walks off with the entire 30-kilo carcass in his jaws. The dog's feast is over. As dawn breaks, there's tension in the air. Wildebeest bulls spar with one another, trying to lay claim to tiny patches of land that they can use to attract females. Already the soil has dried to form clouds of dust at their feet. But it's not just the wildebeest in a fighting mood. Kwezi tries again to get his parents' attention. He raises his front leg in a submissive greeting, sucking up as best he can. But once again, he gets a knockback. Because the pups are getting older, a helper is no longer needed. It's time for Kwesi to leave home. He's dismissed from his childcare duties. From now on, he's on his own. As the rainwater gradually evaporates from the pan, only a few deep pools remain. Animals converge from all directions to quench their thirst. Concentrations of animals bring new problems. So many mouths crammed together in dirty pools create a perfect environment for infectious diseases to spread, and deadly anthrax tears through the herds. The jackals are immune to this killer and find themselves with a wealth of feeding opportunities. Now that they are weaned, Adana and Farai's pups are quick to exploit the free food. With their dainty muzzles, they can pick bones clean. They have been born into a jackal utopia, a land of bountiful food and water, at least for now. The pups play fight, helping to build and strengthen their growing bodies. Though light-hearted at the moment, the games will gradually enable them to establish rank, the basis of jackal society. While the pups are distracted, their parents, Adana and Farai, have spotted an opportunity. An Abdim stork has broken its wing. Jackals are quick to spot any weakness and move in. Though the bird's injuries are severe, they have not disarmed its deadly, stabbing beak. It clamps its bill, brandishing the sharp weapon to keep the marauders at bay. But once again, teamwork comes into play. The pair jostles around the unfortunate stork, wrong-footing it until they are finally able to bring it down. Being part of the pack pays off. But Kwesi's left out in the cold. No stork breakfast for him. From now on, he's going to have to find food for himself. He discovers the desiccated carcass of a lizard. He's happy to play with it, but it just doesn't seem that appetizing. The wet season is short-lived. Kwesi has been enjoying the wealth, but these good times are coming to an end. In a matter of weeks, the pan is returned to desert, and the herds of hoofed animals disappear back onto the plains in a cloud of dust. Only the toughest stay behind. The huge rock monitor is an ancient desert survivor. At 7 feet long, it's one of the largest lizards on Earth. Around 9,000 giant monitors patrol this stretch of desert. But even with their colossal claws and toothy jaws, they can fall victim to an even fiercer resident. looks small and quite cute, the honey badger is reputedly the most aggressive and powerful animal for its size. It will eat just about anything it can catch. It spots the lizard and closes in. The lizard puffs itself up, trying to look bigger, and flicks its whiplash tail. But it's not enough to deter the attack. With the whipping tail under control, the badger wrestles its victim to the ground. Once it has it in a headlock, the monitor is powerless to defend itself. With its colossal prize, the badger will be well fed for several days. There is only one waterhole left, and it's about to become center stage for a tragic drama. Hundreds of birds and animals flock every day to drink, but now a new killer is at large. This is Adana, Kwesi's mother, but something's wrong. No healthy jackal would risk a head-to-head fight with a huge and well-armed antelope. This bizarre behaviour signals a threat that could affect the entire jackal family: rabies. As the dry season continues, waterholes dry up and animals are forced together. This can lead to a spread of diseases. It soon becomes clear that something is seriously wrong with Kwesi's parents, Farai and Adana. Approaching the rapier-horned gamsbok is suicidal. Adana has contracted the most feared of diseases: rabies. Her life partner, Farai, sits, clawing at his throat. He finds it hard to swallow as the disease takes hold. They claw their mouths in desperation as thirst takes its grip. Adana stays close to the waterhole, but she's unable to drink. Slowly, her strength deserts her. Rabies attacks the nervous system and can turn its victims quite mad. Because the desperately thirsty animals remain close to water, their bodies become hazardous waste that can lead to more outbreaks of disease within the animal community. Farai has lost his mind completely. His mate has already passed away, but driven by the disease, he attacks her lifeless body. Soon, he too will succumb to the disease. This devastating infection wipes out the jackal family. But because he was kicked out, Kwesi has moved away to safety. His independence has saved his life. He is now the sole survivor of his clan. Alone and orphaned, he searches for unoccupied territory to call his own. He must find food and, above all, avoid the dangers of the desert. He shares the pan with many other animals. At first glance, large and dangerous species like the ostrich should be avoided. But despite their powerful kicking legs, they're worth keeping an eye on. Ostriches lay eggs. But while the protective parents are around, he'll need to look for easier prey. Alone in a hostile wilderness, finding food is one of his greatest challenges. At dusk, insects emerge. Butterflies and dragonflies make handy snacks, but he'll have to do better than that. Tonight's his lucky night. A few discarded ostrich eggs, presumably infertile ones that didn't hatch. A tough egg to crack, but this one has hairline fractures, just enough to get his teeth in. The contents of the huge 3-pound egg will keep him going for a few days. Used to sleeping close to the den and his family, tonight is the first time he's alone and exposed. The caracal is truly a hunter of the night. But this female kitten is almost weaned and follows its mother everywhere, making hunting difficult. The youngster has to learn to fend for itself. A moth has the misfortune of being its target practice. Like other cats, the caracal is an ambush hunter, leaping on its prey with needle-like retractable claws. As an adult, this most graceful of hunters can leap 10 feet into the air. But for now, leapfrogging over mum is enough. Not far away, a strange pair of jackals from a different clan are foraging. All jackals prefer the cool of night to hunt. They have pair bonded and will stay together for life, patrolling and maintaining a territory. Their sensitive noses pick up a trail. A desert hare. The first jackal isn't quite fast enough to get a good grip, but it's enough to drive the frightened animal into its mate. The perfect ambush. Alerted by the prey's scream, Kwezi is immediately curious. This could signal an easy meal. But the resident couple are not willing to share their prize, or to tolerate an intruder on their patch. Kwezi crouches submissively, pleading for some handouts, but they are having none of it. A hip slam is the jackal equivalent of a punch on the nose. He gets the message and trots off, leaving the pair to their meal. It seems that Kwezi's got up the landlord's nose. It's a lonely chapter in plucky Kwezi's life. Unless he finds a mate to support him in battle, he'll always be the underdog. It seems every time the loner howls, his calls are answered. Every patch of desert is already occupied. His search must continue. But morning brings new promise. A waterhole, rich in wildlife. Flocks of sand grouse wheel in to drink. A parched Kwezi is at last able to quench his thirst. There is flying food everywhere he looks, and like a kid in a sweet shop, he races in open-mouthed. But without as much as a mouthful of feathers, he'll have to think again. Getting a meal here will require some of that jackal cunning and adaptability. Sand grouse are relatives of doves, and they too drop in to drink. Kwezi trots in, trying to look uninterested, hoping to sneak to within striking range. The doves are thirsty. With their heads down, they are vulnerable. Kwezi is gradually getting closer and closer. But then he tries something different, a cunning trick. Kwezi limps as though injured, trying to hide his potential for speed. The doves seem to buy it. They don't regard him as a serious threat. So close. But then, his hunting is interrupted. This waterhole is the regular haunt of an elderly male, and he's not about to share his resources with a rookie. Kwezi paws at the soil as he considers standing his ground. But as the male approaches, he can see that he's outsized, so takes the submissive approach, paw raised and tail between his legs. It takes a few hip slams to really put Kwezi in his place. Banished once more, our underdog can only watch as the old male sets about securing his breakfast. Dove hunting requires patience and stealth. Forced to leave the old dog's waterhole, Kwezi is back in the open desert. His foraging attempts are being carefully monitored from above. The martial eagle is an opportunist, and it's hoping to exploit Kwezi's sensitive nose. The next bird he finds is definitely too big for brunch, but now the remaining ostrich eggs have hatched, and the tiny chicks are an alluring sight. However, he hasn't worked out how to get past Dad, the biggest and fastest bird on Earth. Armed with heavy feet, an ostrich kick could be fatal. But while Kwezi is giving Dad the runaround, another predator makes the most of the distraction. However, the martial eagle isn't quick enough in his escape, and now the male ostrich is very angry. The eagle is expelled, and Kwezi too seems to hedge his bets and moves on. Kwesi picks up an alluring smell. And this time, it's not food. It's a lone female jackal, about his own age. This is Ify. Finally, a friendly greeting. She almost seems as happy to see him as he is to see her. Like him, she's been travelling alone for days. Some friendly batting. Ify sits down submissively, a sure sign that he's welcome to join her. The fun and games could be the start of a lifelong friendship, providing Kwesi plays his cards right. But the romp is interrupted by the calls of vultures as they circle and land in a nearby clearing. These sharp-eyed scavengers are like a dinner bell to a jackal. Their arrival means one thing: food. They follow the line of birds. The carcass belongs to another lone jackal. On his own, the male is struggling to keep the hungry flocks at bay. The newlyweds arrive. Kwesi's always been the underdog, but now with his new girlfriend in tow, his confidence is bolstered. He's ready to make a stand. Dominance successfully asserted, he claims the carcass, though he still needs to deal with the pushy vultures. Despite his initial victory, Kwesi ends up settling for a few scraps. But then, trouble appears. Hyenas are one of the most formidable predators on the plains, and armed with the strongest jaws. No jackal would stand a chance, but these are youngsters, and something else has caught their eye. A huge lappet-faced vulture has been left behind by the throng. Maybe the bird is sick, or perhaps it's just eaten too much to take off. But either way, it's grounded, and the hyenas are spellbound. Hyenas and vultures interact all the time around kill sites, but the birds usually fly away if the predator comes too close. The young hyenas seem almost to drag the bird as if trying to make it fly, picking up speed and holding its wings out. But eventually the hyenas get bored of their new toy, and amazingly, the bedraggled vulture is able to get airborne. As the sun sets, the carcass is left to the birds. Under the cover of darkness, the jackal pair enjoy some alone time. Ify is coming into season. Kwezi stands a chance to father cubs and stay with Ify for life. But while they are distracted, another male has picked up Ify's scent. But now Kwezi is no longer the juvenile underdog. He rushes in to protect his mate. Ify joins in, supporting her partner and making sure the interloper is put in his place. The battle is fearsome. This is Kwezi's chance to secure a home for his new family. He cannot afford to back down. Kwezi the jackal is fighting, not only for his life, but for the chance to protect his mate and start a family of his own. Finally, the intruder backs down. He was severely mauled and lucky to escape with his life. Ify is immediately at the victor's side, the bond between them already strong. For Kwezi, it's a landmark. He's growing up. The pair gets straight to work laying a scent trail. It's like planting a flag to show that they have conquered this territory. Scent glands around the head, neck and tail leave information on the age, sex and status of the jackals that any neighbour will be able to read. Perhaps Kwezi's show of strength was enough to convince Ify that he is the dog for her. She is ready to mate. Neither one of the young jackals has tried this before. All members of the dog family have an unusual way of increasing the chances of conceiving. They literally become locked together. At first, the pair panic. It can take up to 20 minutes before the male is able to separate. They will mate several times over the next few days. Before long, Kwezi and Ify are working on a nursery. They dig several den sites so that they always have a plan B should something go wrong. They have succeeded in winning a good patch of territory, but there is one drawback. Their new home overlaps with that of a pair of fearsome honey badgers. They need to keep the den well hidden from their dangerous neighbours. After 2 months, our young couple have produced a family. Cautiously, they move the pups from den to den to prevent a build-up of scent that might alert predators to their whereabouts. While Kwezi moves his 3 pups to their new home, Ify goes off to find food for herself and her mate. Like any new couple, bringing up the first litter is always the hardest. Some of these little ones will remain for a year or two to help with the next litter, just as Kwezi did for his parents. But for now, Kwezi and Ify are on their own. Kwezi encourages the last pup to walk the final leg of the journey to the new den site. The adults will take turns sitting by the den and guarding the pups. And while Ify forages, Kwezi is on babysitting duty. The pups are getting stronger and more curious and enjoy short spells outside the den, relaxing in the cool evening air. But it's not a good night for stargazing. Honey badgers are out hunting. They nibble on insects, but they are looking for something larger. These versatile predators will eat just about anything they can find on their nightly patrols, which can cover many miles. Tonight, they've stumbled on Quezzy's den. The pups dash for cover, but it only draws the badgers in. Quezzy hears his pup's distress calls and launches a brave defense. To escape Quezzy's angry jaws, the badgers dive into the den hole and closer to the cubs. The father is frantic. But his aggressive display is enough to send the badgers in search of easier prey. He calls nervously to the den. The cries are answered, but only 2 pups emerge. It was a close call. Quezzy howls to bring his mate home. If they can raise at least one of these pups, it would help protect and provide for a new litter. Life will get easier for the little dogs. But for now, they are doing well. Quezzy has proved his worth as a father. No longer the underdog, he has made a stand. In this new pack, Quezzy is top dog.